And now let's look ahead at where technology is heading or seems to be heading. Based on current or emerging trends, how do you think your job or company or manufacturing in general will be different in 10 years? Stephanie, why don't we start with you this time?
So organizations are going through a digital transformation, and as a result, there's going to be very different roles in the future. Again, the Deloitte study, they have kind of come up with these different personas and different titles for what jobs will be in the future, and it's things like digital twin engineer and like predictive supply network analyst and drone data coordinator or robot teaming coordinator, and they're really interesting jobs. It's not the normal pick and place stuff that you're thinking about on the plant floor. So that's the good news. But we still have to be, successfully recruiting these folks into the new career. And I think as an industry, while we're so focused on the technology and the digital transformation of the organization, we really need to be focusing on the workforce and training them and reskilling them to take advantage of the technology and feel comfortable and empowered and not abandoned. And lastly, we're always hearing that automation is going to take our jobs, and I do not believe that. I really think it's going to complement our jobs, and it's just going to allow us to have better jobs. And I think as individuals, we've been talking about organizations changing. I think individuals, we need to be willing to change and learn new skills, and that will take us into the next 10 years.
Change is hard, but it's something that we all have to continue to do. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's important in this industry to be flexible, which is the theme we have going on here today. So Kathy, how about you? How do you think things are going to be different?
I think for manufacturing in general, what we're going to see is a fallout from the Internet of Things, and that is the fire hose of data that all these connected devices are generating. And we're going to need people to deal with that fire hose of data. Artificial intelligence gets all the buzz, but I think really what it's going to come down to is data scientists and data analytics, people who can wrangle the storage of that data, wrangle cleaning up that data, and wrangle the analysis of that data. And that's going to become more and more important to all kinds of manufacturing operations, including very small ones.
Absolutely. Thank you. Lo, over to you.
Yeah, I think that this is exactly what my team is working on. As Stephanie said, we're going to have all of these different skill sets that are required to do manufacturing of the future. And I don't know how reasonable it is to ask every individual manufacturing plant to keep all those skill sets on staff. And so as someone who's involved in the design of equipment and the design of the tools that go into the manufacturing space, I think that puts a burden on us to figure out how to democratize these technologies. As things get more complex, you don't have to be a programmer to run your iPhone, but for a long time, you had to be an automation engineer to program a skid. So we need to start democratizing the manufacturing technologies to help bridge that skills gap, help people move into these new roles of the future, and make sure that automation isn't taking jobs, automation is making jobs easier, so that people can not do repetitive work, but move into more intellectually and physically fulfilling work.
Definitely, kind of bringing it back to what Stephanie was saying earlier about training up the workforce for what's coming.
Absolutely.
Okay, Shay, why don't you bring it home with this one?
Sure. I think building off of, what Lo mentioned, I think that especially in this space, as we start to bring in newer, younger engineers that are going to inevitably bring their kind of philosophy with them and in some way rub off and shape the industry, I think we're going to have to see things open up a bit more. And that's, sharing information, that's softwares themselves, devices themselves. It's been really exciting to be a part of the inductive automation team and work with organizations like CirrusLink that have the Sparkplug B spec and work to keep information open and have these working groups where varieties of engineers and folks with different interests can come together and influence how something is built out or how it progresses. And I guess my hope is that across the board, this industry starts to open up more and more. I more commonly am working with customers that have previously had very proprietary systems, very locked down systems, and it's complicated for everyone. It takes time to find the people that know why something was programmed a certain way or what their end goal was going to be when someone leaves in the middle of a project. Just the more that we can facilitate more open software, open technologies, and transfers of knowledge, I think the better off our industry and the job market and all of us at large are going to be.
Definitely. You're kind of echoing all of the pillars of our company there, Shay. So keeping that openness, whether it's through the organization or through our technology platform, definitely important.